So here is my basically project. So the origin of fundamentalism, it emerged in the late 19th to early 20th century. It reacted against liberal theology, Darwinian evolution, and it aimed to defend traditional Christian beliefs. That's kind of where postmodernism, I believe, started coming into effect. Basically, there were five fundamentals. There were the core beliefs, which were the biblical inerrancy, the virgin birth of Christ, the substitutionary atonement, the bodily resurrection of Jesus, and the second coming of Christ. So it was kind of what we talked about during that time. There are some strengths to fundamentalism. A doctrine of clarity and consistency, and strong moral conviction and ethic boundaries were very much in effect when that was going on. The weaknesses of it were there was tendencies toward anti-intellectualism, which often isolated from broader culture and dialogue. Some other things that fundamentalism had to do with was it was a reaction from liberalism and Darwinism, which was in like the late 1800s. Some key briefs about it were like the inerrancy and the virgin birth, the atonement, the resurrection of Christ, and some traits were like the doctrinal rigidity and cultural separation. Some other strengths were clarity and conviction. Yeah. Then we started talking about neo-orthodoxy, which was a post-World War I rejection of basically liberalism. Key figures, people we had discussed during that time were Barth, Niebuhr. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the last name right, but it's Niebuhr, and Bonhoeffer. I believe it's Bonhoeffer. Basically, this neo-orthodoxy was like about the revelation from God, and the sin and grace focus, and Christ-centered. This was a biblically focused type of religion, and the realism about sin was really prominent during the time. There was some other things, some weaknesses about him. It was relativism and doctrinal revisionism. I believe the next we started talking about was process theology from process philosophy, which was by Whitehead. The ideas were basically God is dynamic and persuasive and not all powerful. Excuse me. It was basically relational with God, like making relations with God and response to evil. It was an unbiblical godly image that was their weaknesses and it downplayed sovereignty. We then started discussing Pentecostalism. Basically, beliefs were like spirit baptism, speaking in tongues, and like spiritual gifts. It was very experimentational. It was healing oriented. It had to deal with a lot of like trying to heal people. It was a vital faith. It had global impact. I believe the next subject we started talking about was postmodern theology, post World War II, reacts to Enlightenment reasons, rejects universal truth, favor pluralism, narrative theology, humility, cultural, and oh my gosh, it basically created humility and cultural engagement with people. It had weak authority though. Third World Theologies was basically global South and colonial, post-colonial settings. There was contextual theology, justice, and identity. Areas that this happened to were in Africa, Asia, Dalit, Mingyun, Latin America. It was culturally rooted and liberating. It was theological tension as well during that Third World Theologies.